Greetings, senpais! Today I'm here with you to show you the best side of Russia. More specifically, today we are going to discuss the most fresh, the most memorable, the most unusual and the most bizarre stories that have popped up in Russia lately. Yes, this is your favorite show, Weird Russian News, a show in which I take a special look at news with the weirdest headlines for you. Yay, let's get started right now, cause I can't wait! A teenager in Moscow was hospitalized after his parents fed him flying agaric mushrooms. But no, do not think that the parents wanted to kill their negligent heir. In fact, he himself went to them for advice when he tried to quit vaping. But he failed. And as you know, your dad would never give you bad advice. So he recommended a traditional stimulant that was supposed to help him fight the addiction. It helped, he ended up in the hospital, and you can't really smoke there. By the way, this year the agarics are more popular than ever. Just 2 weeks ago, a deputy who drank dietary supplements with fly agarics was put in hospital, and in February in Moscow, a student named Mukhamorov was put in the hospital with fly agarics poisoning. Though one would think that a guy with such a name should definitely be immune. Now let's move on to sports news. Namely rock climbing. An icicle as big as 5-story building. Climbers conquered a utility mountain in Samara. Wow! A burst pipe in Samara created a giant ice mountain the size of a 5-story house. And if there is a mountain, there will always be those who want to climb it. By the way, the authorities of Samara stubbornly ignore the mountain. The municipal services said that the breakthrough was in the pipe that does not belong to their department, and the city authorities said that the mountain itself will melt when summer comes and are in no hurry to remove it. Maybe they hope that it will become a permanent hallmark of the city and a magnet for tourists. And now we move on to the news of the criminal world. Today we have 3 whole burglars and robbers. A Russian robbed a friend in order to have a proper wake for his cat. According to the police, in July 2022, the robber was drinking with his comrades in the dormitory. He decided to go to the store and buy more beer, but on the way he saw that his cat had been hit by a car. Poor kitty! Then the friends decided to bury the cat in the yard and ordered a photo of the pet in a mourning frame from a photo studio. They started collecting money for the animal's wake, but one of the drinking buddies refused. No! So our robber pushed the victim, cut the strap of his bag, and took the cash. Fully exonerated by me. The next burglar didn't find a creative way to use his loot, but he decided that when he goes on a mission, he must look his best. To do this, he put on a wig and got himself a magnificent bosom. Imagine the disappointment of the police who watched the CCTV footage when the gorgeous blonde turned out to be a 40 years old, 8-time offender from Irkutsk. Well, now he will have to entertain his cellmates in prison with his skills. I'm sure they'll be thrilled. And finally, the most chaotic neutral guy of today's selection. The burglar broke into a Moscow barber shop, gave himself a haircut and left. He climbed into the salon through the window, got a haircut first, refreshed himself with a cold drink, took a nap, and then took the money and, well, ran away. It's not quite clear why did he take the money after all. Maybe he was dissatisfied with his fresh haircut and decided to get his compensation. Many people have heard about the story of a student at the Russian State University for the Humanities in Moscow who wrote his graduation thesis in one day with the help of ChatGPT bot. To be more precise, it was written by a bot. From beginning to end, the student only made some grammatical corrections and, of course, after the successful presentation, he immediately tweeted about it. As a tweet caused a storm of outrage. Some even demanded that the work should be annulled and that the students should not be given the diploma of higher education. But all ended well. Even the Minister of Education stood up for the student, calling it an interesting experiment. And recently he was even invited to the State Duma to participate in a roundtable on prospects for the use of artificial intelligence in the education system. So kids, sometimes cheating is helpful, and artificial intelligence will soon take over the world. By the way, maybe this video was written entirely by AI too? A kindergarten in Stavropol Krai is being inspected for LGBT propaganda because of the rainbow-colored benches. Nikolai G., a 65-year-old man, filed a police report after he noticed colorful gates and benches on the grounds of the Dryanachka kindergarten. It is reported that a district police officer had already come to the kindergarten. He inspected the benches and found no signs of LGBT propaganda. Thank God, today these insidious gay benches did not get our children. But tomorrow, who knows what will happen tomorrow? A Moscow woman claimed that she had been raped in an attempt to get to a doctor as quickly as possible. Police were called to a Moscow hospital by a gynecologist whose patient informed him of being raped. However, the girl told the police that she had made up this story so that the doctor would admit her immediately, because she didn't want to wait in a long line with other women. Well, I understand, because 2 hours in line amongst the constantly swearing babushkas is practically raping your brain, yeah. In Gelendzhik, a man danced snake in the entrance hall because he was not added to the neighbors group chat. And again, we have a great video from the security cameras in the entryway. Vladimir says, the other tenants ignore him, do not greet him, do not give him a key to the intercom, and do not add him to the common WhatsApp chat room of the house. Yes, and his dispensing pump was allegedly stolen from the communal area. So how to answer that? Of course, undress and dance. Let them know how much they miss by rejecting him. As a sign of protest, Vladimir dances naked, cuts the wires leading to the front door, and rubs his naked body parts against the car parked in the yard. The car suffers silently, and the police say their hands are tied. The maximum he could face is a small fine. The biggest kakoshnik in Russia was made in psychoneurological hospital in Urupinsk. Everything in the story is perfect, both the item and the place. I guess there is no need to add any comments here, although looks nice, doesn't it? Maybe I should get one too? And we'll end this video with a gorgeous symbol of this beautiful year. Ooh. What kind of year do we have? Right! A Russian sculptor made a symbol of the year 2023 from manure. 2-meter rabbit beats, a drum, and well, represents this year, I guess. By the way, this is already the 20th such figure by a self-taught Yakut sculptor. By the number of Chinese zodiac signs. The sculptor said that there were difficulties in sculpting a driving rabbit due to the insufficient frost. The building material took too long to harden at minus 30 degrees Celsius. He called 45 degrees of frost the most comfortable weather for his work. And with that wonderful news, I bid you farewell. See you someday.